Good morning, everyone. It's Joker, and today we are back with another slime video. And it is now time to go into Inferno 1 of the Nine Head Beatdown battle. This is to satisfy the mission, or the bingo mission clear for the Chancellor Union once you get to the final page. It is Clear Mill and Special Coaching Inferno 1. So obviously we're recording this early, but this is a requirement if you want to get those Dragon Spheres and if you want to get the EX ticket, or the 10% EX ticket from the Bingo reward clear. But this stage is a bit more difficult than EX2, as always. It's still not out of the realm of possibility, though. Milim now has 7.2 million HP instead of the 1.4 or something. A little bit higher stats, nerfs blues even harder, and nerfs the other resistances even more. Crit, Synergy, and Aegis. Attack and defense down. Drago, physical attack. Invincibility on turn 5, so Sword Gimmick not going to work for you. Reckoning, though, at least not on turn 5, but every other turn can also work, so we'll definitely have to show that. But otherwise, it's a pretty simple stage. You can use oranges still, you can use greens, you can do whatever you want with those two. Makes things very approachable for people. But let's go ahead and let's do 7.2 million damage. Alright, first up is going to be the Festive Memories quote-unquote team. Still going a bit lighter on the support characters. We've got Diablo, First Anniversary Milim being an orb changer, which we don't really need, but we can use. And an alt buff. We've got Awakened Kyokyo for the magic and weakness strike buff. It's pretty strong up until turn 5, and then it drops off on turn 6. Gobla for the debuffs and the pierce down. Frey and then Nine Head as, the new meta characters. So this is going to work really, really, really well. So going into turn 1, okay, there we go. Turn 1, we'll bring Nine Head in, use the green buff, and then we'll send these 6 green orbs. That'll get us access to Diablo turn 2. And then we could alt on turn 2 if we wanted to. Like, if we had brought maybe the Masked Hero or something, we could do it. But that's what I'm saving for the next clip. So here, we're going to activate some of the debuffs with Gobla to get her pierce resistance built up a little bit. And then we can take her out for Kyokyo, because I'm not going to do the Frey gimmick here. I don't want to do that, because I don't want to send any alts. I just want to build up enough points, so I don't have to build anything, but I just want to retain enough points. That way next turn, I could do the personal buff with Nine Head and the buff with Kyokyo, and we could hold on to that on we could nuke on turn 4 or something. So we have the EX ult with Frey. That's going to give us 110% weakness strike for Nine Head, because she's got a couple dupes in her. So boom, boom. All right, she can go away. I want to put some more debuffs on with Gobla, because I want to get her resistance stacked up more, and we have the points for it. So, or we could not do it. Frostbite. Okay, reactivate the green buff. There we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Don't ask me why I sent Frey's alt last. It would have helped for her other orb, but it's not really that big of a deal. So boom, 88k. The alt does 270. Not a lot of damage, but there's the stacking weakness strike. Okay. And now we've got 180 points. We've got a double Diablo. Let's do some more debuffs. And then we could probably nuke here if you wanted to, or you could wait an extra turn just in case. I don't really see a reason why you would wait, but we could do a number of things here. So boom, boom, 4 rainbows. We'll do the alt brought up from the front. Okay, that'll give us Frey's EX ult again. So another 110% weakness strike. This is if your Nine Head is not doing the damage, or you don't have as good support characters with you. You want some extra buffs. But we can then nuke on turn 5, and that is a full hand of Gobla, so that's a bit interesting. Let's go ahead and bring Milim in for Kyokyo, use her alt buff. She doesn't need to be up front. Gobwa will use her Pierce down. It's not fully capped out, I don't think, but it's better than nothing. And then we can bring Nine Head in for Gobwa and have almost a full hand. We've used everything already, so we'll just go ahead and do the self-convert here, or just the Milim convert, sorry. There we go, and the self-convert. So full hand, plus Nine Head, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and she does 10 million damage. And we really didn't need to wait that long to do it either. We could have easily nuked on turn 4, maybe even turn 3, and gotten the job done. Alright, the next team I stole from D2, but this is a 2-turn, free-to-play Protector Ranga team. And he's not even leveled up, his skill isn't even level 10, but we're going to make it work. So Ranga puts the Control and Dread status on. We've got Blanc for the points and the big time buff. We've got Isis for the Drago and the ult resistance down. We've got the new Masked Hero for the rewind and the synergy down, which technically Milim does have synergy resistance, but if you put enough debuffs on, we're going to enhance that by quite a bit, and we'll overcome that. And then Frey and Nine Head. So this is a really, really funny team. So turn 1, we will do as we always do, bring Nine Head in, bring Frey in, use the green buff and the orb change. And then turn 2 is where things get a bit funny-wunny. So, send the 6 orbs. Ranga is not going to give us the ult now for Nine Head though. So we do have to try and get that on turn 2 before the rewind kicks in, because once the rewind kicks in, we'll actually get access to the ult. So, cool. We've got 1 orb for Nine Head. That's really all we need. 149 points. Let's use the ult resistance down and the Drago skill from Isis. Drago from Isis is only affecting magic allies, but thankfully Nine Head is magic. We'll use the free 40 points here, and then the Nine Head personal buff, I believe, right? I think we should. Oh no, actually, we use the big time Blanc buff instead, because that's kind of expensive. Okay, we're going to use the Heartscape now, and that will give us 44 points, and that will now allow us to rewind, which is kind of the most important thing. So boom, we are also kind of banking on a hand that we can convert with Ranga, so you do need a bit of RNG. We can't really have any orange orbs here, so we get really lucky. Max points again, another Ranga, that's cool. We have all 3 of the debuff enhancing effects now. Frostbite from Frey, Dread and Control from free-to-play Ranga. We've got a lot of buffs going on right now, and it's time to put even more on. So, Super Rewind is what I'm going to call it at this point, kicks in. We've got full hand, we've got the ults, and we've got now the synergy. We'll do the pierce rate and the weakness resistance down. And now we can ult with Nine Head. Being a free-to-play character, we can bring in Blanc again for the free 20 points, and that will allow us to use the personal buff for Nine Head. Almost exactly enough points to do what we need to do here. We'll use Ranga for funsy onesies. It doesn't really matter. The extra control stack doesn't matter until the end of the turn, and we're not going to make it that far. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Frey does 1.4 million damage now, and Nine Head does 17.5 million damage as a free-to-play character on turn 2. Crazy wild. It does have a butt ton of support characters, like premium support characters, but a 2-turn Inferno 1 kill, I'm pretty sure that would clear much higher than that. So there is a alternative strategy if you have some units to do it with. Alright, next up is a Danmachi-ish team. We've got Hestia, Shuna, and Bell. We've got Nine Head again, because why not? And then we've got Visions of Koli's Violet for the magic buff. And then we got Divine General Masked Hero because we need someone to activate our Pierce rate. We're going to get 100% Pierce power from the hero, which will override the Nine Head's 70% since we do not have a second Festive Memories character. But by activating Pierce rate early, any stacks that we get with Bell along the way will then take effect, because he doesn't get Pierce rate until turn 8, which we don't want to be here until turn 8. I guess you can if you want, but really unnecessary to do so. So if we can get like 4 or 5 stacks of Pierce Power with Bell, that's another 100% Pierce Power on top of what we're getting from the hero. So 200% Pierce Power, all the element stacks that we're getting with Hestia, the magic buff, the attack buff that Nine Head has, and the stacking ult damage we get from Bell's stance. Whenever he ults, he gives 20% extra ult damage to everybody. So we're going to make full use of that. And we also have another Earth character in case you need it for some reason. Shuna, is a support ult, but she is single targets. I mean, she can kind of help, I guess, cut into the HP for Milim. But here, as long as we get a good hand, I mean, we're going to be fine. And we could technically ult rush Nine Head if we really, really wanted to. It's a bit unnecessary because we don't need an EX ult for her. But the possibility exists with the Shuna orb change. We don't have anyone to ult swap because we have no wind characters here, so we don't need to use it for that point. But let's do some more stacks of Pierce Power. And if you don't want to bring Visions of Coleus Violet and you want to bring like the free-to-play Soka that came with Danmachi, that's stacking magic attack and pierce resistance down. So, that would help too. Or you can bring Gobla, or you could bring someone else who would help Nine Head do more damage. What else do we need? Ult resistance down? Like, you could bring Isis again if you wanted to or something. I don't really know. There's options on this team. But now we have an ult for Nine Head, and honestly, she doesn't need to be up front anymore. So we could honestly just use her buff and send her away. And we'll just hold on to that until turn 4 or 5 or something. But let's go ahead and use the rewind just for funsies. Gets us a little bit extra stack maybe of Hestia and Bell, more importantly. So let's do the green buff and then the stance with Bell. That way we don't lose it. And then we'll send this hand. That'll give us another Hestia next turn, and we'll have we'll double Hestia, and we'll have so many points to use for Bell's Pierce Power on the rewind turn. And this is just giving us more and more and more damage. And so we're not going to have the extra damage buff from being under Protector Diablo or even Ranga. It's just we're going to override Milim's HP bar with massive amounts of Pierce Power. So Bell actually being useful on when we're focused not on a full Danmachi team and not stacking till turn 8 is a little bit better than I had imagined him in the future state of the game. Still, you do need someone to be here to actually nuke and activate Pierce rate if you want to do it a bit early, so it does take up another battle slot. But it can still, function, right? Okay. So now it's kicked over to turn 4. We've used a whole butt ton of stacks with Bell already. We could ult now if we wanted to. So I think we will. So let's do the Pierce Power with the hero. That's going to give us the Pierce rate and 100%. Let's do another stack of the Pierce Power with Bell as well. And we can bring Nine Head in and Violet in. And then we could use Hestia, give us the 110 points. We could use the magic buff now, and that'll affect both Shuna and Nine Head. We don't need to do anything else. And then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Shuna does 1.1 million. Nine Head does 7.5 million damage. So yeah, that also works pretty well. And it doesn't require the new summonable meta units. It just requires some collab units, which if you don't have at this point, you're never going to get. But it's always an option for you. And of course, if you don't nerf orange orbs, you can use Warrior's Mind instead. And you don't even need Nine Head. You've got Shuna, free-to-play Xion that came with the meta. Raphael, honestly, don't need him. I mean, we use one stack of the ult damage. We don't even use the dark buff because it's unnecessary. So you could take Raphael out and you could do whatever the hell you want here. But Gobla, Blanc, and Violet are going to be fairly important because we want the control stacks and we want the debuffs. Since this is a Pierce-focused team, it makes sense to use it here. So turn 1, we are starting with 36 skill points, so we can get the Rainbow Convert on turn 1. We will just take out Xion for Blanc, and we'll take out Raphael for Violet after we use a stack of the free ult damage, essentially. And that's pretty much the only time we're going to use Raphael. So if you wanted to go an extra turn to nuke, you could use the Raphael skill as well. if in case like your Blanc is at 120 with really good gear or something, but it's a bit, again, unnecessary for most things. So boom, okay, we have an alt for Blanc. Excellent. I don't want to send that yet though, so we are going to use Shion's alt swap here. So let's put some of the debuffs on to get the pierce resistance going, and then we could do the control stack, we could do the free 40 points as well, and that will then, we'll bring in Shion for Violet. We don't need Violet for anything else right now, because we're going to nuke next turn. So alt swap, skill points, get us close to the cap again after this turn, if not at the cap. We use Shuna, give us the oranges, give us the 2 rainbows, more importantly, put the Dread mechanic on Milim. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, gives us an EX ult for Blanc, a normal ult for Gobwa in case you need additional damage, and we're ready to go for turn 3. So 44,000 damage on the normal orb. Okay, cheeky counter back. And then the weakness strikes we get from the control stacks don't matter. We don't have any earth characters here. So, 180 points. Let's use the Gobwa buff. Let's use the Blanc buff. And that's pretty much all we need to do. So, boom. We could do another stack of the debuffs just to get that higher. And then... So, like, okay, we bring Raphael in. We don't actually use Raphael's skill, though. So... Let's do the points. Let's do the pierce rate. I guess we could have used the debuffs again as well if we really, really wanted to. Oh well, not a big deal. And especially if you have the hardscape for extra points. I don't actually think that would have given us enough to use the 90-point skill though. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We're definitely not capped out on the pierce resistance down, but 4.6 million for Gobwa. Blanc does 6.7, and we could have done more had we used the debuffs properly. But yeah, Warrior's Mine, still getting shit done almost 8 months later. Cool beans. And if Warrior's Mine can do it, Scourge Wielder can do it too. So we've got Elmesia. We've brought Nine Head in because I want to convert turn 1. That's the only reason. Nine Head isn't going to get really any of the buffs that this team has because she's not light or dark, she's not physical. So physical buff and physical damage from Lumi and Elmesia don't matter. The light buff, dark buff from Masayuki does not matter. And we're not really going to use the hero buff at all because the synergy that we have from her does not overpower the resistance that Milim has. And we have no way to enhance that on this team as it's built right now. Like if you have control or something, or frostbite, then yeah, you would. But not a big deal. So turn 1, we'll just use the convert for the green orbs, give us a good starting hand. We'll bring Masayuki and the hero in, and then by virtue of the physical buffs and chaos, we will annihilate this Milim in pretty short order, alongside the 200% orange orb damage, because if you combine that with all the other buffs we've got going, you do 250,000 damage a hit. It's kind of a lot. It's kind of a lot. So, turn 2, blues are nerfed. Oh no, we've got 102 points. Let's do the... Oh yeah, okay, let's do the rewind, the orange buff, and the light buff. And then we'll use Elmesia to change everything to oranges, plus the rainbow, give us the physical attack buff. And we can see how much damage our orange orbs do on this turn. So, physical attack buff, boom. Only hero and Masayuki, that's pretty good. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And they're doing... how much? 128,000 damage a hit. Taking chunks off of her HP. And now the rewind will kick in. And we could get the physical damage plus the chaos damage in. I don't know if we're actually going to kill on the rewind turn. So it might skip over to turn 4, quite honestly. Oh, we have the ults though. Maybe it will. So Chaos, plus the physical, plus another stack of Chaos. And that's about all the points we have available. Maybe, I mean, honestly, you could probably bring in like a multi-skill character instead. And use them instead. But Masayuki, 749k. The hero, 860k. And then the follow-up orbs, 283k a hit, 265. We're looking good. Okay, and the Chaos, like, almost kills, but then we're going to skip a turn to turn 4 because of the rewind. We didn't actually kill on that. Not a big deal. Turn 4 is still perfectly acceptable, so let's just do it again. More Chaos, more physical, more orange damage. The light buff is still there as well. This is the last turn it's active. And then we could do another Elmesia, and now the alts will just finish up. So Inferno 1 for this meta, really not that bad, assuming that you can buff up Nine Head by quite a bit and you can get the job done. These are not the only teams that can clear Inferno 1, so if you used anything else that's not these team builds to clear it, please put it down in the comments, that way other people can check that out and maybe use that team instead. But that's it from me. Take it easy, and I'll see you all later.